friends, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. It is the first week of September and I am so happy. I'm so ready for fall, and I'm basic and I love everything pumpkin, so I'm so excited. But anyway, today I'm just going to be showing you some of my makeup tips that work for me. I do have oily skin, I have textured skin, I have redness, I have big pores, I have acne scars, I have acne, I have it all. So I've had to work around that and figure out what works for me. And did I say it's sensitive? It's so sensitive. Like, talked about it before, fragrance, if fragrance is in anything, it will break my skin out if it touches my face. But it has to stay on there for like a little bit to actually react. But my skin is just really, really sensitive and just particular. So I've had to figure out over the years of what works for me and what I can actually have on my skin and everything like that. So we'll get on to the video. Okay, so my first tip is just to moisturize before you put on your primer or foundation. Since I do have oily skin, I started using an oil control moisturizer, and it is the one by Maria Badescu. I did talk about this in my last video. This has been like a staple for me. It has helped my foundation apply so much better, stay on so much better. And even when I get oily throughout the day, it doesn't break apart, and it doesn't get as oily as it normally would if I didn't use this. So this is definitely great if you have oily skin. The struggle is real, it sucks. But even in general, just applying a moisturizer before your makeup is just going to really help to smooth your skin and prep it for a primer or a foundation. Okay, another tip that relates to moisturizer and primer, because I'm about to talk about primer, is to wait 10 minutes. So as in, apply your moisturizer, wait 10 minutes, then apply your primer and wait 10 minutes. I know not everyone has time to do that. It's just good to wait as long as possible so that it can actually soak up into your skin and actually prep your skin and have enough time to not just sit on there, but like I said, to soak up into your skin. And something that has helped me too, because I don't always have time to wait. I read, or did I read an article, or I watched a video, something like that, where they said to wait at least 30 minutes, and I was like, are you crazy? Like, I don't have that much time. I'm waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, like I'm not waking up any earlier to wait 30 minutes for my primer and moisturizer. Like, that's an hour, it's crazy. Yeah, okay, I was like, wait, is it? Okay, yeah. Anyway, and then another tip that has really helped me is using a sponge to apply my moisturizer and my primer. I just get like some sponges from the Dollar Tree just because I just need them not to do anything, not to help blend my makeup, but just to apply my moisturizer and my primer so that I don't put too much product in, and so that it helps to sink into my skin better and soak up into my skin better. So I just, like I said, I just get the ones at the Dollar Tree. They help so much to apply your primer and moisturizer and just help for it to set into your skin faster, and so you don't have to wait so much, and just to help, like I said, prep your skin for your foundation. Next is using a setting spray. I don't really like setting sprays. I don't think they do anything for me. Like, if I use it to prep for my makeup or to set my makeup in place. I've used a couple and I've never thought they've actually helped my makeup to stay on or to stay matte or anything like that. But what I have found in them is that I always spray it on right after I put on my foundation, and then after I put on all of my face products like my blush and my bronzer and highlighter, because this helps with the cakiness for sure. Not just any setting spray. I've used a Love NYX, but I'm out of that. And then I do have a Cover FX as well. But just spraying it all over your face, it just helps to blend out that cakiness without taking off the product. And sometimes I'll even spray setting spray on a sponge if there's certain places, like I know my chin and around my nose can get really cakey. So if I spray this on a sponge, I can go in there and blend it out. And like I said, it doesn't take off the product. It actually helps to blend it out without applying more product and without taking off product. So this is definitely something that's helped me, which I know it's weird that it doesn't really work for me, like to set my makeup, but it does help to make it look more flawless and more natural and less like cakey and textured. Next is when applying your powder. So like I said, this is from an oily skin person. I don't really know how this would work with dry skin or combination skin, but is using a sponge. I'm sorry, it's so dirty. I've cleaned it, but it's stained, it's struggling. But using a damp beauty blender or a damp sponge, whatever, to apply your powder. Which I know a lot of people use this technique for baking. I don't like baking. I don't know how. I don't know how to do it right. Every time I do it, like, it's probably the powders I've used as well. Like, you'll see it. It's like flashback in pictures that I've taken. Like, you can see my white. It's so weird. And also it just kind of, every time I do it, it makes it more cakey. I don't know. So this isn't baking. This technique isn't baking. I just literally get a little bit of powder and apply it with my damp beauty blender, and it just helps to, like, it puts my powder on to set my makeup a lot better than a brush, because, you know, when you go with a brush and you're moving your makeup around, and for me, my skin, you look at it and it screams, so, like, I have to be super careful. And even if I just, like, sometimes I did use a brush and would just, like, go in like this and pat it in. This sponge still works. A sponge still works so much better to apply your powder. I guess just because it actually, you know, gets really close to your skin and just presses the powder into your skin to set your makeup a lot better. Okay, so for people with straight eyelashes that do not want to curl, you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I've been doing this for years, and I promise I've never ripped out my eyelashes, knock on wood, because let's not let that happen. So I have long eyelashes, but they do not curl. Even when I use a eyelash curler, I curl them, they do not stay curled, period. So I heat up my eyelash curler, which I love going over to a friend's house because I'll be like, it's running out of fluid, but they're so confused. But I've been heating up mine for a little bit now, because that's the only thing that will keep my eyelashes curled, because, you know, it can actually shape them. And so I'll light it and I always swipe across with my fingers, because that just cools down the temperature. It just kind of, you know, it gives it a second to just, like, settle, and I just kind of like to test it with my fingers. And then I'll even touch it again just to make sure it's not gonna, like, scald my eyelids, or rip out my eyelashes. Or burn them off, I guess. But anyway, so that's what I do, is work, like today, like they've stayed curled all day. And also using a waterproof mascara. I cannot use a mascara that is not waterproof. It will not stay, it will smudge, it will go crazy. I don't know why, because it does not keep them curled either. Like, even if I heat up my eyelash curler, if I use a regular mascara, it does not stay curled. I don't know why. I guess because, like I said, what just happened? I guess because, like I said, like, my skin is very complicated, so I guess my eyelashes are going to be complicated as well. But using a waterproof mascara and heating up your eyelash curler helps so much. Just be careful, please. I don't want to be the one that's like, you try it out because of me and then you, like, burn yourself. I'm so sorry. Just test it. Please test it like 100 times. But it works so well if you've struggled with that. And also, I can't put on false lashes, so that ship has sailed for me trying to do that instead of curling them. But yeah, I promise you it works really well. Okay, last is just some tips for putting on your eyeshadow. So, which people may already know this, but this is something that I use every time I do my makeup. I have to use this technique or my eyeshadow will look crazy. So when you put it in your crease, I know that, like, if you just go in there and with a harsh hand, you're gonna have, like, a streak of color right there of eyeshadow. Let me get an eyeshadow, okay? Which, watch this not show up on camera, I swear. I'm gonna use a dark color so we can see it. I always tap off the access, but so if I just go in there with, like, a harsh hand, it's that's gonna happen. No, it's gonna be a lot harsher. But if I go in, this is the tip I'm trying to tell you, to hold it at the end and use a light hand. Because it'll take you forever if you go in with a harsh hand and you're having to blend it out for so long. Because, look at that, oh my goodness. Like, look how that's so much softer and subtle, yeah. And then this is just struggling. But just to go in with a fluffy brush and to go in with a light hand when you're going through the crease, I know for so long I would do this and I would spend so much time blending it, and finally I think I saw Nakia Joy. I love her. I've talked about her before. I love her so much. Anyway, I think she taught me that, but it helps a lot, works really well. I've got to blend this out. And another tip, like I said, you probably have already heard this, but I'm just sharing what I use and what's helped me a lot. When you go in with a shimmery eyeshadow, which I feel like a lot of people use that for their lid, so take your finger, and I always impress it on your eyelid. It applies it so much better, it's so much more pigmented, but you can see the difference. But then if you take a brush and apply it, just to show you the difference, which not that, you know, you can't use a brush, but it just takes time, like it's time consuming to use a brush as if you just use your finger to apply the shimmery eyeshadow. I don't know if you can tell in this lighting, it's not the best, but it definitely works a lot. Yeah, you can see how sparkly like this eye is, and then I would just have to keep going back in and patting that on, and it's like I said, it just takes up more time. So it's just a simple tip that is a lot easier and works really good. Okay, that is all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really sorry if those tips are really basic or obvious or old or whatever the word would be. Those are just the tips that really helped me when I started wearing makeup. Actually a lot longer after I wore makeup, and I really wish I would have known these tips earlier. So I do hope they help you if you haven't heard of them already. Anyway, so next week I'm going to be doing my daily makeup routine. I definitely don't wear makeup every day, but just the routine that I use when I do decide to wear makeup. So yeah, I'm super excited to be showing you the products and just how I apply it. So I will see you in next week's video.